Ready.
Questions?
When you look back at the film from Texas, what stands out to you?
I don't think we played our best. I think we needed to play our best to really have a realistic chance to win, and we didn't play our best. So, and I think probably, Texas has something to do with that, but there's certainly some things we could have done better that we didn't. And I guess, one thing about that is even though I could say those things and the score and the things would bear that out, and whatever, 2/3 of the way through the third quarter, we're down by 6 points. So, found a way to kind of hang in there despite all those kind of things. So there's some positive things, but quite honestly, we need to play better than we did to win. We didn't.
You had that goal of improving on rushing defense as compared to last year at Texas. You guys fell short of that goal, and you got another tough rushing attack coming in. Just, I guess, how do you kind of recenter yourself in those?
Yeah, well, we were 100 yards better than we were a year ago against Texas, but that's not saying much, right? So, it's not going to get easier with the crew coming in here. Those guys they're good, and I think our issues were, we had some tackling issues, which some of the big runs were tackling issues, and some other things are just some fundamental kind of fit issues of the scheme, the things that we're trying to do. There's guys that got to be in certain places, and we weren't. So, we kind of got to go back and, we work on tackling all the time, but we got to keep revisiting that. And how can we teach this better, more effectively? So we look at those things, and obviously we got to identify the things within our scheme that were hurting us and get those fixed. So, because I said, these guys are really good in their own right. So it's if we're not squared away, it's going to be much the same.
Was there a common theme on the things that stood out about the missed tackles?
There's one of three things. It's stopping our feet and having to feel like we got to lunge at a guy, dropping our head, and dropping our head and not seeing what we're trying to hit, and then that kind of leads into the third thing, which is really when you drop your head and stop your feet, your ability to really club somebody up and wrap is gone. You're more or less trying to shoulder a guy on the ground, and that only works sometimes. So there were some pretty obvious ones there, and whatever I say, those are I played defense before, and I haven't. You got to try to go tackle a guy in the open field or one-on-one, and those aren't easy. So there's just a few fundamental things you got to hang your hat on, and when we do, we're pretty decent. When we don't, then you see what happens. So you're developing habits either way. So we're trying to develop good habits with guys in practice, and how we go about teaching it and working on it, so that in a game I apply my habit as opposed to just trying to be in survival mode in any old way.
You guys had to rotate a lot. I mean, you rotate a lot already, but because of the heat, was there anyone who you felt stood out in a little bit of time they might not have otherwise? Not any more so than in terms of like guys getting a lot more playing time. Cornell Wheeler played probably as most of the year, and he had that interception, which was that red zone interception, which was really, really clutch at the moment. So I'd say he did a good job in that, and Austin Booker continues to be really productive at defensive end spot. He was a handful for those guys to try to block, and again, so he's really productive when he's out there. Both those guys have things that they can still work on, just to be a better overall all-around player. But their production level was pretty good.
I'm wondering with Devin Phillips, just how important is he to what you guys are doing defensively?
Yeah, he's really good. I'd probably say he's our most consistent, our best player inside right now. Probably trust him the most down in and down out, and he's got super work ethic. So if you're ever out at practice, you'll notice how the guy goes about it and doing it all the right way. And I don't know that his tackles, and I don't know where that always shows up all the time, and I don't always know if an inside guy, you're going to get a million stats. Defensive end's probably going to have a lot more opportunity for stats and big plays than maybe an inside guy. But
I think we recognize when, he's got to be in there as much as he can, because he can hold things together, and they're pretty good, and do things the way they need to get done.
Brian, with Central Florida, they're in a quarterback limbo right now who's going to play. What's that do to you as a coordinator trying to prepare?
Not much. If you watch when the previous the guy that was hurt or is hurt played, and what they do now, they're running the same offense, and so I think the guy now, the McLean, he's really good on his feet, a really good kind of an improviser. We'll probably watch some highlights of him, and avoiding pass rush and staying alive, and still being able to keep eyes downfield and throw guys open, and he does a really good job of that. The guy before was more, probably a little bit less of that, but he ran the ball a lot by design, and was good that way. They both throw the ball well. So again, I don't see any difference when I'm either guy. They're running their offense, and they're just plugging and playing with the guys that are there too.
And when you look at them as a whole on offense, what are some of the things that stand out to you?
Well, you just really need to be ready for their tempo. When they're playing fast, clock's running, they're not substituting personnel, they're really snapping the ball every 15 seconds. So we've got to be ready for that part, or else he'll be 3 scores up on us before we even know what's going on. Because they do kind of surprise people early in the game, I think, with all those kind of things. So their tempo is something that we've really got to, and we have, and we really got to be really alert to. And I think their running back core, they got 2 running backs that are really dynamic. They're fast, they're quick, they're really hard to tackle. They make you miss. I think they're, if they get some space, they got a lot of big runs, and I think those guys are really good that way. So we've got to be really on our game and where we're supposed to be, and we've got to better job sometimes than we do. Like last week we pointed out some strain, effort, finish kind of plays when teams are having their way with you. We forget our training, and so regardless this week we better be flying to the ball, because I don't know that we're going to be 100% tackling those guys. We're going to need that second, third guy to finish it up. So I think the running backs are really a strong part of their offense.
Playing a new conference foe for the first time, you'll obviously play much more in the years to come. Are you conscious at all of laying a foundation for those years, or is it so different from year to year that it really doesn't matter?
Yeah, it's. I guess it's different. I haven't really thought of it that way. We try to, who are they like? Who are they similar to? They're somewhat similar to the Oklahomas and those people. So, we can do it that way. But, I'm kind of excited to play them. Never played them before. So, it'll be something new that way as well. And I believe that's going to be a really competitive game. And, we can certainly are good enough to beat them. I think they're good enough to beat us. So I think that's going to be the way it's going to be from here on out. So just excited to have them come here, and I wish it was 20 degrees and snowing and wind blowing us sideways, but I don't know that's going to happen quite. But that might be in our favor. But anyway, we're just really ready to have them up here and see what they're about.
You mentioned the tempo there. Obviously, tempo is not a new thing, but based off of last season, what teams did against you guys, I guess, were there certain things you could learn from that you feel like could help this time? Or?
Yeah, we've tried to practice a little bit differently as much as we can, and really just alert guys to a heightened sense of urgency all the time. Like you just don't have time for anything. That play ends, you better be up and back to your spot and looking for a call and getting your eyes on the offense, because they're up and running a play. So just for us, it's the sense of urgency. Whether something happened good or not good, the next play's coming. So we'll have time to reflect on that once we get off the field. But we ain't never going to get off the field unless it's after an extra point. If we don't play with a sense of urgency and get ourselves lined up and communicate, and because literally you have less than 10 seconds to do that. So, you know, we've shortened all our calls. We've done all those kind of things to, you know, rather than, you know, our you know, to one thing. You know, I mean, this signal means 5 different words that might have meant in the past, but it's shortened down to that. So, you know, guys can't be looking over there, you know, for a signaler and you know, that team's up there ready to snap a ball. It just can't be that way. So we got to get calls in, got to get lined up, got to get ready. So we practice in that way. I hope it shows up on Saturday.
Anything else for Coach Borland? Okay, thanks everyone.
Thank you.